The first day I woke up in this goddamn novel, I spent the entire night doing what the original owner of this body hadn't managed in 5 years. I slept with the female lead. I had to beg, borrow, and steal, playing every card in the book until Chloe finally caved. But the next morning, for the sake of the one that got away, her high school sweetheart, she still broke up with me. "Leo, I did what you asked," she said, her voice cold. "I hope you'll leave me alone now." She tossed a black credit card onto the nightstand. "There's $10 million on that. Consider it a severance package. If you dare show your face in front of Julian again, I swear I'll ruin you." I hid a smirk. "Honey, your precious Julian doesn't just sleep with his groupies. He's got a secret son with a black model on the side. A toxic girl for a scumbag guy. A match made in hell. Let them have each other." I took the money and walked. That very night, I ended up in bed with her arch-nemesis. After a night of vigorous negotiations, I was still in a daze looking at the woman lying on the pillow next to me, Maya, sterling in the flesh. She was even more breathtakingly, outrageously beautiful than the book described. In my past life, I'd grinded day and night, a workaholic entrepreneur. After a decade of blood, sweat, and tears, my company finally went public. I was financially free before I could even pop the champagne. I woke up here, inside the pages of some trashy romance novel I'd skimmed, cast as the pathetic placeholder boyfriend. This guy, the original Leo Miller, was a complete doormat. His entire existence revolved around Chloe Thorne. They were together for 5 years, and he never even made it into her bed. The moment her old flame, Julian Voss, came back to the States, Leo was kicked to the curb like a stray dog. The story goes that Chloe gets cheated on and scammed by Julian. The original Leo, in a fit of rage, takes Julian down with him in a fiery car crash. A heartbroken Chloe, disillusioned with the world, renounces men and becomes a famous recluse on the Upper East Side. I was already pissed off about dying right after making it big. Waking up as this spineless simp who couldn't even close the deal after 5 years just added insult to injury. I'd navigated boardrooms and bedrooms for years. One look at Chloe, and I knew she was a virgin. There was no way I was letting that piece of trash Julian be her first. And I, for one, representing the good, decent people of America, couldn't let that stand. So when Chloe tried to break up with me, I put on the performance of a lifetime. I played the guilt card, threatened to lose my mind, and delivered that classic manipulative line, "Just let me hold you." Thinking of the 5 years of Leo's thankless, devoted service, Chloe must have felt a pang of guilt. Her resolve softened. She agreed. The result was a long, sleepless night for her. Even now, a faint trace of tears stained the corners of her eyes. Chloe's dark hair was a storm on the white silk pillow. She must have felt my gaze because her eyes snapped open, blazing with anger. "Chloe, you're even beautiful when you're angry," I murmured. "What am I going to do? I really can't break up with you. I can't live without you." Okay, maybe I could live without her, but damn, she was gorgeous. The thought of her body was suddenly very distracting. "The second I think about you leaving me, my heart feels like it's going to explode." Chloe was furious. "He said he'd just hold me. He didn't just hold me, and now he's going back on his word." Was he kidding? But when her eyes met my look of utter devastation, her anger wavered. She reached into her designer handbag, pulled out the credit card, and threw it at me. "There's $10 million on this, a breakup fee. If you dare go cry to Julian, I'll make you regret it." I decisively pocketed the card. "But what if, after we break up, you realize it's me you love?" I pressed, my voice full of theatrical pain. "Let's be clear about one thing. Once we're done, we're done. I won't take you back, even if you get on your knees and beg. I won't give you a second glance." "Love you?" she scoffed. "You can't even hold a candle to Julian. You think I'd ever beg you for anything? Who do you think you are?" "Fair enough." I started taking off the shirt I had just put on. Chloe panicked. "Leo, you asshole, what are you doing? Get off me. You be gentle." An hour later, Chloe was throwing my clothes at me. "Get out. I never want to see you again." I dressed quickly and left. I don't make a habit of clinging to women. Besides, the world is full of beautiful women. Why hang myself up on one? On my way out, I gave her perfectly rounded as a playful slap. As she shot me a look that could kill, I ducked my head and beat a hasty retreat. After I was gone, Chloe stared blankly at the ceiling, her mind still reeling from the insanity of the last 24 hours. She felt like I had become a completely different person. The old Leo would never have dared to do these things to her. She thought she'd be happy after the breakup. Instead, there was an unexpected emptiness in her chest, as if something vital had just slipped through her fingers. I booked a flight to Miami that same day. I needed a vacation. In my last life, I worked myself to the bone for 10 years to finally get rich. Then I had a few too many at my own IPO party and woke up in this mess. This time around, I wasn't going to deny myself anything. The second I hit the beach, I snapped a selfie and posted it to my Instagram story. Happy breakup. Getting away from a toxic woman like Chloe was definitely worth celebrating. Ever since Julian came back a month ago, she hadn't given the original Leo a single kind look. She came home later and later. A woman who never posted on social media was suddenly flooding her feed with coupley photos with Julian. The last straw. The original Leo had a 104-degree fever, practically delirious. Chloe was driving him to the hospital when Julian called. She pulled over and left Leo on the side of the road. What kind of monster does that? I was lounging on a beach chair, sipping a glass of Cabernet, when a pair of world-class legs appeared in my field of vision. I nearly choked on my wine. These legs were, if possible, even more perfect than Chloe's. My brain immediately gave them a 99 out of 100. I looked up and met a pair of sparkling, captivating eyes. I searched the original Leo's memories. This devastating woman was Maya Sterling, heiress to the Sterling family fortune and Chloe Thorne's sworn enemy. The Sterlings and the Thornes had a long-standing feud. These two women had been competing over everything since they were in diapers. While the Millers were well off, they were small-time compared to the Thorne and Sterling dynasties. She looked at me with a half-smile. So, you finally dumped that bitch Chloe? Chloe's toxic, I said, not missing a beat. Why keep a woman like that around? It's not like it's Thanksgiving. She looked at me, surprised. You're not sad. I was, but then I saw you, and you're way hotter than she is, so I suddenly feel a lot better. Maya let out a tinkling laugh, giving me a flirty once-over. Leo, I always thought you were so boring. I had no idea you could be so smooth. Oh, really? And here I thought that was my one flaw you hadn't noticed. Maya giggled again, covering her mouth as she settled into the lounge chair next to mine. Maya, what are you doing here? My gaze unapologetically drifted to her smooth, tanned legs. Business trip. I saw your Instagram story and decided to track you down. She caught my eyes lingering on her legs and asked with a playful smile, Are my legs pretty? They're beautiful. It's just a waist that I can only look and not touch. Go ahead, she said, looking at me like she was watching a play. If you want to touch them, touch them. How could I refuse an offer like that? The moment I lunged, she flipped me with a perfect shoulder throw that sent me flying. I groaned as I picked myself up. Damn, this woman doesn't fight fair. I swear, women are all trouble. I settled back into my chair, took a sip of my wine, and deliberately ignored her. Seeing as you're still in the mood to joke around, you really must not be sad, she said. I turned my face away, refusing to engage. But Maya leaned in closer, her voice a seductive whisper. Leo, do you want to get back at Chloe? That got my attention. What kind of revenge did you have in mind? How furious do you think Chloe would be if we got together? She mused. You know we're mortal enemies. I'm always happy to do anything that pisses her off. I suddenly remembered a passage from the novel. Maya had made the same offer to the original Leo, but he was so hopelessly devoted to Chloe that he'd flatly refused. Huh. So the original Leo wasn't just a wimp. He was blind too. The woman in front of me was, by any objective measure, even more stunning than Chloe. How could anyone refuse such an outrageous request? Let me touch her leg, and I'll do it. Maya frowned, studying my face for a long moment. Just one touch. I nodded emphatically. Cross my heart. She looked like she was making a monumental decision. Fine. Seeing the serious look on her face, my heart started pounding. I wasn't the old Leo. A man doesn't turn down an offer like that. I grinned and reached out my hand, landing on her thigh. But when I tried to venture a little higher, thump. Another shoulder throw sent me sailing. Leo, you asshole, you broke your promise. Back in New York, at the Thorne Corporation headquarters, an assistant entered the office with a stack of documents for Chloe to sign. Miss Thorne, Mr. Miller didn't bring lunch today. Chloe's pen froze. She had a sensitive stomach and couldn't eat takeout. For years, The original Leo had cooked for her at home and brought her meals to the office. Her expression darkened. I broke up with him. He won't be bringing it anymore. The assistant was taken aback. Everyone in the company knew that Julian Voss had been visiting Ms. Thorne constantly since his return. They acted like a couple. People had been betting on when she and Leo would break up, but she hadn't expected it to be so soon. Sensing her boss's bad mood, the assistant didn't dare ask more. She took the signed papers and quickly left. Chloe was distracted all day. She even turned down a dinner invitation from Julian, which was unheard of. The memory of last night's surrender made her grind her teeth in frustration. After work, she went straight to a private room at a bar her friends had booked. The moment she walked in, 8 pairs of eyes swiveled to her. Chloe found a seat, frowning at her friend's stares. "What are you all looking at me for? Is something wrong with you?" Her best friend, Sarah, sat beside her and asked tentatively. "Chloe, Leo used to follow you everywhere. How come he's not with you today?" Chloe snorted. "Weren't you all the ones who complained about him always being around? Now he's not. Shouldn't you be happy?" Sarah poured her a drink. "You didn't actually break up with Leo to get back with Julian, did you? Look, Leo might have been a total simp, but at least he was completely devoted to you. Julian abandoned you to go overseas. Now that his family's business over there is on the verge of bankruptcy, he comes running back. Be careful, his motives might not be so pure." Chloe's face went cold. "If you're going to keep insulting Julian, I'm leaving." Her other friends quickly raised their glasses to smooth things over. "Come on, guys, no more of that. We're here to drink. Let's just have a good time." The atmosphere gradually warmed up again. After a few rounds, everyone was a little tipsy. Sarah, her cheeks flushed, leaned in. "Chloe, you dated Leo for 5 years and never let him touch you. How did you keep him so obedient?" All eyes turned to Chloe again. The topic just made her angrier. She wanted to bite my head off. The effects of our night together still made walking a little awkward. She'd even canceled a candlelit dinner with Julian, worried he'd notice something was off. Chloe didn't answer, just kept downing her drinks. The mood turned awkward. People started scrolling through their phones. They all ran in the same social circles. My identity as the younger son of the Miller family, while not a true heir, still came with a 5% stake in the company and a multi-million-dollar annual dividend. They all follow my social media, so they could all see my Instagram. Before, my feed was a shrine to Chloe. Now, they saw that every post related to her had been deleted earlier in the day. He'd posted the happy breakup selfie from Miami. Now he'd posted a new carousel of a dozen photos. Leo Miller in swim trunks, strolling along the beach at sunset, looking incredible. The caption read, "Watching the sunset with the one I love most. The view is beautiful, but not half as beautiful as you." Everyone's expression turned strange. Chloe, feeling their shifting gazes, glanced over. The photos showed me smiling so brightly, it was almost blinding. The caption made her blood boil. Sarah sighed dreamily. "Leo's whole vibe has changed." The others chimed in. "Yeah, I always thought he was just average looking. How'd he suddenly get so hot? I thought he'd be a wreck after the breakup. Not this happy. Look at that caption. Do you think there's really another woman with him?" Clang. Chloe slammed her glass on the table, her face a thundercloud. "We came out to have a few drinks, and all you can talk about is Leo? Are you ever going to stop?" She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Sarah looked baffled. "I thought she didn't care about him. Why is she so pissed? What is her problem?" The others were just as confused. "You don't think she actually fell for him, do you? Looks like there might be something there. You know, my friend in Europe told me that while Julian got famous in the rap scene over there, his personal life is a mess." I mentioned it to Chloe once, and she almost ended our friendship, accused me of slandering Julian and insulting his character. "I was so mad," Sarah said softly. "Honestly, I still think Leo is better. If Chloe doesn't want him, I might just have to make a move." "You little minx, you've been planning this all along, haven't you?" Chloe returned to her empty penthouse. Before, no matter how late she came home, there was always a light left on for her. Now, the apartment was dark, cavernous, and cold. It didn't feel like a home anymore. She sank onto the sofa, her expression desolate, and pulled out her phone to look at my Instagram. In the pictures, my eyes were full of light, brimming with pure happiness. This is Leo? The same man whose world revolved around her? The man who had tiptoed around her, anxious and uncertain the moment she frowned? No one could change that much, that fast. Chloe refused to believe the pictures were real. It's just a show to get to me, she muttered. He certainly learned a few tricks. Meanwhile, I was enjoying a lavish seafood dinner with Maya, flirting and laughing without a care in the world. I asked for the name of her hotel and immediately declared I was getting the room next to hers. Why? To be your knight in shining armor, of course. A woman as beautiful as you, Miss Sterling. What if someone gets the wrong idea? If I'm next door, I can be there in a flash to protect you. That night, I checked into the room next to Maya's. The next few days were a blur of deep-sea fishing and scuba diving. Our relationship progressed at lightning speed. A week later, Maya and I returned to New York together. Chloe and Julian were just about to be seated for dinner when they saw two familiar figures in the lobby. Her eyes instantly filled with rage. Those two figures were, of course, Maya and me. The thought of my Instagram caption, "the one I love most," made her face turn pale with anger. We were in the middle of a story about our trip. I'd said something that made Maya dissolve into laughter, and she playfully tapped my chest with her fists, which I caught in my hand. To any outsider, we looked like a couple in the throes of a new romance. Julian saw it too. When he saw Maya, who was arguably even more glamorous than Chloe, a flame of jealousy ignited in his chest. He'd assumed I'd be miserable after Chloe dumped me. He never imagined I'd be thriving. Isn't that Leo? Julian sneered. So much for being heartbroken. He found a new girl pretty fast. She doesn't exactly look like the classy type, either. Chloe's eyes were hard. Don't talk about her like that. Her name is Maya Sterling. She's the Sterling heiress. Their family is one of the most powerful in the city, but they're my family's biggest rivals. Chloe, see? The guy's a snake. You were together for years, and the second you break up, he gets with your family's enemy. So pathetic. Chloe's expression was grim. He's just trash I threw away. They're probably together just to provoke me. Just as we were about to step into an elevator, Chloe and Julian followed us in. Julian glared at me. I thought you were so pure. Didn't take you long to find a replacement, did it? The original Leo didn't know what a scumbag Julian was, but I did. Well, if it isn't the famous rap star, I shot back. Heard you had a wild time in Europe these past few years. You're walking a little unsteady there, pal. Looks like you're running on fumes. Kidney problems. Julian's face drained of color. He started to stammer. You don't talk nonsense. I'm just making an observation, I said mockingly. Why so defensive? Chloe's gaze on Julian became more scrutinizing. He quickly tried to explain. Chloe, listen to me. Don't listen to him. He's just trying to drive a wedge between us. Then Chloe decided not to press the issue, turning her icy gaze on me instead. Since we're all here, why don't we have dinner together? I shrugged. Thanks, Miss Thorne, but we wouldn't want to interrupt your date night. A toxic woman and a gaslighting dirtbag. Just looking at them was annoying. Eating with them would kill my appetite. Chloe gritted her teeth. A week ago, it was sweetheart and baby. Now she was Miss Thorne. He was clearly drawing a line in the sand. Worse, it was the first time I'd ever refused her to her face. To my surprise, Maya spoke up. Oh, come on, Leo. It's just dinner. The more the merrier. I leaned in and whispered in her ear. Maya, what's your game? I knew there was a reason you insisted on this restaurant. You planned this, didn't you? I'll let you touch my legs twice. Deal. Chloe watched our intimate exchange, her fists clenching at her sides. After we ordered, I spent the whole time whispering with Maya. How mad do you think Chloe would be if she knew Julian was a complete fraud? Maya's eyes widened. What do you mean? Did you have him investigated? I just smiled cryptically and continued. It's not hard to find out that the Voss family is going bankrupt. But the fact that Julian sleeps with his fans, has a chaotic private life, and a secret son, the Vosses have kept a tight lid on that. Not many people know. How do you know? I just gave her a mysterious smile. If what you're saying is true, she whispered back, Chloe would probably cough up blood. The world thinks you were madly in love with her. Why didn't you just tell her? I looked at her like she was an idiot. You think if I told her that her perfect long-lost love was a scumbag, she would have believed me over him? A woman in love is never rational. I'm not a masochist. What's with that look? My condescending stare successfully provoked Maya, and she lunged at me playfully. Watching us flirt and joke, Chloe's face was livid. Her lungs felt like they were about to explode. If she wasn't trying to save face in front of her old flame and her sworn enemy, she probably would have jumped across the table and tried to strangle me. Julian, seeing Chloe's sour mood, reached for her hand to comfort her. What are you doing? Chloe snatched her hand away as if she'd been burned. Julian's face fell. He'd been planning to show off their affection in front of us, but he hadn't expected such a visceral reaction from her. His eyes shot daggers at me. I was a little surprised myself. According to the novel's plot, their relationship should have been heating up by now. Judging by their body language, Julian clearly hadn't sealed the deal. I couldn't resist a little jab. Miss Thorne, the guy came all the way back from Europe for you, and you won't even let him hold your hand? You don't want to break your hero's heart, do you? Chloe looked like she wanted to eat me alive. Julian knew I was mocking him, but forced a smile. It's fine. I've only been back a month. It's natural to be a little distant. Chloe, I could give you more time. Hearing Julian's understanding words didn't bring Chloe any joy. Instead, her feelings grew more complicated. Well, here's to you too, I said, raising my glass. May you live happily ever after and have many beautiful children. Chloe slammed her chopsticks on the table. Leo, what is that supposed to mean? Nothing at all. Come on, let's eat, let's eat. I quickly tried to defuse the situation. Maya played the part of the doting girlfriend perfectly, putting food on my plate and peeling shrimp for me. Chloe's eyes were shooting fire. She knew Maya was doing it on purpose, but she couldn't stop herself from trembling with rage. Julian watched Chloe, then looked at me. The hatred in his eyes deepened. When Maya placed another piece of food on my plate, Chloe finally snapped. Leo, are you a child? Do you need someone to feed you? I didn't even look at her, just kept eating. Maya giggled. Chloe, Leo is my man now. What business is it of yours if I want to feed my man? Chloe was speechless, unable to find a comeback. As Maya continued to peel shrimp for me, Chloe could only clench her fists and swallow her anger. Julian decided to follow suit, peeling shrimp and placing food on Chloe's plate. The irony was, Chloe didn't eat a single bite. The expression on her face was strained. Was that a hint of disgust? Julian, I can get it myself. You should eat. Chloe was a notorious germaphobe. It had taken 3 years of our relationship before she'd finally let me put food on her plate. Julian's hand froze midair, his expression a priceless mix of shock and embarrassment. The rest of the dinner was a masterclass in awkward tension, thick with unspoken hostility. As we were leaving, Maya smiled seductively at me. Where to next? Want to grab a drink at a bar? I put down my napkin and wrapped an arm around her waist. Why go to a bar? Let's go to the hotel. You're terrible. Maya pinched my side hard, making me wince. Chloe saw this and exploded. She rushed forward to grab me, but Julian held her back. I swept Maya up into my arms. Put me down, she gasped as curious onlookers stared. She quickly buried her face in my chest, her cheeks burning. I leaned down and whispered in her ear. You said you wanted to piss her off. Let's give her something to really be mad about. Instantly, Maya stopped struggling. Her arms wrapped naturally around my neck, and she shot a defiant glance at Chloe. I laughed, carrying Maya towards the waiting car. The driver's jaw was on the floor. Chloe broke free from Julian and yanked open the car door. I glanced at her, then gave Maya a wicked smile. Want to make it even more interesting? Then I kissed her. MMPH. Maya's eyes flew open in disbelief. Her mind went blank, and for a moment she forgot to resist. This woman had come looking for me. She was playing with fire. After the past week, the tension between us was already at its breaking point. This was the perfect opportunity to push it over the edge. Just then, the back door was wrenched open by Chloe. She saw us kissing, and her pupils constricted. She froze on the spot. Maya was about to push me away, but seeing Chloe's devastated expression filled her with a delicious sense of victory. She tightened her grip on my neck and kissed me back, hard. Leo, you bastard. Slam. Chloe slammed the car door shut and fled. I didn't even look back at her, too busy kissing Maya as if my life depended on it. I didn't let her go until she was breathless. I spent the night at Maya's villa, though not in the same room. For all her natural flirtatiousness, Maya was surprisingly traditional at heart. Conquering her completely would take a little more time. The next morning, I woke up to over 99 missed calls and hundreds of messages. Most were from Chloe, but plenty were from my parents and friends. Then I saw the trending topic that had taken over the internet. Julian Voss had posted a long screed on Twitter, accusing me of sabotaging his relationship with the CEO of the Thorne Corporation. He called me shameless, a stalker who refused to take no for an answer. The post included a gallery of photos of him and Chloe from high school to the present day. Julian was a rapper with a decent following, about 3 million diehard fans. Chloe, as a famous and beautiful New York CEO, was a public figure in her own right. A swarm of bots and trolls descended on me online. I had no doubt who was footing the bill. The post rocketed up the trending charts, quickly hitting the top 3. The internet exploded. "This Leo guy is disgusting. How dare he interfere with our Julian's relationship? Is he trying to be the other man? Gross. What a psycho creep. He should look in a mirror and see if he even deserves to be in the same room as Ms. Thorne. Ms. Thorne must have the worst luck to be stalked by a psycho like this. He's messing with our Julian, who wants our fan army to bankrupt his family's company. The son of the Miller family has no morals. We need to boycott all Miller Industries products. Leo Miller, get online and apologize now." In the original novel, the old Leo had relentlessly pursued Chloe after their breakup. Julian had used the exact same tactic, weaponizing public opinion to slander him. Chloe had unhesitatingly stood by Julian, endorsing his claims. The original Leo had no proof. In 5 years, they didn't have a single intimate photo together. With Chloe herself denying the relationship, he was crucified online. The Miller family company was hit hard, its stock price plummeting. They didn't go bankrupt, but their market value evaporated by 80% and they never recovered. Just then, my older brother, the current CEO of Miller Industries, called. He said our parents were furious about the lies online and were threatening to go to the Thorne family and demand an explanation. He was already planning to spend a fortune to kill the story. I told him not to do anything. I was prepared. He was skeptical, but eventually agreed to wait. The moment he hung up, Chloe called. "Leo, if you promise to leave Maya, I can help you clear your name." "I wouldn't want to trouble you, Miss Thorne," I said coldly. "You don't be an idiot." I didn't want to talk to her anymore, so I hung up. Maya was leaning against the doorframe, a smile playing on her lips. "You're being crucified by the entire internet, and you'd still rather burn than accept Chloe's help and give me up?" I'm touched, Leo, truly. I was busy organizing files on my laptop. I glanced up at her. "Of course my love for you is real." She gave me a sultry look. "Such a sweet talker. Do you need me to make a few calls? I can get this all buried." "No need," I said without looking up. "If I can't handle this, how can I be your man?" Maya laughed, a rich, throaty sound. The look she gave me was hotter than ever. The truth was, I had started planning for this on my first day in this world. The original Leo and Chloe might not have had any romantic photos, but the Thorne penthouse living room was covered by security cameras. The day we broke up, I copied all the footage, 5 years of them living together. The moment those videos were released, the rumors would collapse. Furthermore, the gifts the original Leo had given Chloe over the years could fill a small room. A single necklace from an auction was worth over $1 million. The total value of the gifts exceeded $10 million. I had receipts for all of it, complete with photos of the items and pictures of Chloe wearing them. By the time I finished writing my tell-all post detailing the last 5 years and attaching all the evidence, Julian's story was the #1 trending topic in the country. The internet was a tidal wave of hate directed at me. My social media accounts had gained 500,000 new followers in a few hours, all of them there to curse me out. My family's personal information had been doctored. To my surprise, Chloe hadn't come out in support of Julian, but she hadn't clarified anything either. She remained silent. The moment I hit post, all hell broke loose. Countless users and major influencers shared it. Julian frantically posted again, claiming my evidence was photoshopped and that I was a despicable manipulator. But cybersecurity experts quickly came forward confirming that the videos and documents showed no signs of digital alteration. I had photos, videos, and receipts. I had irrefutable proof. No one expected the tables to turn so quickly. The netizens who had been whipped into a frenzy felt duped and foolish. Their anger was redirected. Even Julian's most loyal fans felt used. They flooded his social media accounts, tearing him to shreds. All the hate that had been aimed at me was returned to him 1,000 times over. But I wasn't done. I posted the evidence my brother's private investigators had dug up over the last week. Proof of Julian's history of sleeping with underage fans in Europe, his chaotic private life, and his secret son. The Miller family was less powerful than mine. If they had the resources to bury a story, we had the resources to dig it up. Julian had started this war. I wasn't going to show any mercy. When the birth certificate of his secret son and high-definition photos of him escorting a black model in and out of a hotel were released simultaneously, Twitter's servers actually crashed. Julian instantly became a social pariah. I've been a fan for years, and he's this kind of scumbag? I feel sick. His secret kid is old enough for kindergarten, and he's in America pretending to be a saint? Cancel him. He needs to be deplatformed everywhere. Trash. Julian Voss lied to us for years. Get out of the industry. I feel so bad for Leo. That bastard Julian tried to ruin him. He can go to hell. Where are all the brain-dead fans who were attacking Leo before? Why are you so quiet? Get back here and apologize. Chloe Thorne is no better. 5-year relationship she never acknowledged, then lets her ex get slandered. They're two peas in a pod. A scumbag and a toxic bitch, a perfect match. When does the Thorne Corp stock start to tank? I'll be the first one celebrating. The narrative had completely flipped. Julian's social media was overrun by furious netizens, his comments section refreshing with tens of thousands of insults per minute. His management company issued an emergency statement announcing they had terminated his contract. All his music was pulled from streaming platforms. That's when Chloe finally broke her silence. Her Instagram was updated with a new post. I was not aware of the false statements made by Mr. Julian Voss online regarding myself. Mr. Leo Miller and I were indeed in a relationship for 5 years, but have amicably separated due to personal differences. My relationship with Mr. Voss is that of a platonic friend only. I'm not responsible for his actions. This attempt to distance herself only fueled the public's fury. You're only clearing things up now? Where were you when Julian was slandering Leo? LOL. So, all those cozy pictures Julian posted were photoshopped? You have some very platonic friends. Does she take us for idiots? This move is so pathetic. See? Chloe Thorne is trash. The second Julian's career went up in flames, she cut him loose. I looked at my phone and scoffed. So now she decides to speak up? Too late. The Thorne Corporation was about to take a serious hit. I looked over and saw Maya lying on her bed, scrolling gleefully through her phone with a smile on her face. She couldn't contain it. Yee. Leo darling, that move was brutal. You didn't just beat her, you humiliated her. She cackled. Chloe must be losing her mind now that she knows her precious one that got away is such a degenerate. Ha ha ha. Just thinking about how she must be feeling makes me so happy. My gaze drifted down to her long, perfect, snow-white legs. I raised an eyebrow. So, how are you going to reward me? She looked at me, her eyes smoldering as she bit her luscious lower lip. How about with my body? She didn't even finish the sentence before I was on top of her. She panicked. I was joking. Leo, you be gentle. In the weeks that followed, the public backlash caused the Thorne Corporation's market value to plummet. Following the plot points I remembered from the novel, I helped my brother make several strategic moves, snatching major projects right out from under them. The Sterling Corporation naturally seized the opportunity to pile on. In just 1 month, the Thorne Corporation lost over a third of its value. The Voss family, already teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, was completely wiped out by the scandal. Chloe called me countless times. She sent long, pleading texts, apologizing and asking to meet. I ignored them all. One evening, I was accompanying Maya to a black-tie charity gala. Unsurprisingly, we ran into Chloe. She looked haggard and had lost a lot of weight. She froze when she saw me. The old me, the layabout rich kid, would never have attended this kind of high society event. When she saw how close Maya and I were, her face hardened. Maya and I pretended not to see her, but Chloe walked right up and grabbed my arm. I shook her off. Miss Thorne, this is a public event. Don't you think it's inappropriate to be putting your hands on your ex-boyfriend? My cold words made her freeze. She stared at my familiar face, a face that no longer held any trace of the subservient worship she was used to. A sharp pain lanced through her heart. She was the one who ended it, but now that I was treating her with cold indifference, she couldn't stand it. Maya glared at her. Miss Thorne, are you really going to grope my man right in front of me? Have you no shame? Chloe had been desperate to explain herself, but I hadn't given her the chance. She hadn't expected to see me here. She looked at Maya, a hint of pleading in her eyes. I just have something I need to talk to Leo about. Could you give us a moment, Miss Sterling? Maya, who had grown quite fond of having me around 24/7, refused flatly. No, Chloe's face darkened, and she had no choice but to walk away. Maya's mood instantly brightened, her eyes sparkling with delight. I stared at her for a second. In the novel, Maya's happiness was directly proportional to Chloe's suffering. I guess some things were true to the source material. It was a little twisted, but her reaction suited my purposes perfectly. I wrapped an arm around her and gave her a quick kiss. These kinds of backslapping corporate events really weren't my scene. I stepped out onto a quiet stairwell for a cigarette. I don't know how she found me, but Chloe followed me out. Leo, she began, her voice trembling. I haven't spoken to Julian at all. I know I was wrong. Can we go back to how we were before? A wave of irritation washed over me, mostly on behalf of the original Leo. I laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. Chloe, for 5 years I was your dog. I came when you called. I lived and breathed for you. I humbled myself into the dust for you. And what did I get? In your eyes, I wasn't even worth as much as a dog. 5 years of my life, and it meant less to you than a few sweet words from that scumbag Julian. When he was trying to destroy me, what did you do? Nothing. You have to understand. If I hadn't been prepared, I would be the one who is ruined right now. Your silence, your complicity, how is that any different from what he did? You should thank your lucky stars you didn't side with him and kick me when I was down. Otherwise, I swear to God, this would have been a war to the death between us. Julian's crimes involve minors. I've already turned the evidence over to the police. Just go. I don't want to have anything to do with you ever again. Chloe's eyes were red. She suddenly lunged forward and threw her arms around me. Leo, I've had time to think. I love you. It's you I love. I was wrong. Can we please start over? She tilted her head up, tears welling in her eyes. It was my fault. Just give me a chance to make it up to you. I looked down at the fierce conviction in her face, and I found it utterly absurd. But she was serious. I pushed her away hard. Chloe, your I love you is about 5 years and one massive scandal too late. It's worthless. And for the record, I don't do leftovers. We're done. Just then, a figure lunged out of the shadows on the landing above. It was Julian. His eyes were wild with hatred. Leo, it was you. You called the cops. You took everything from me. I'm going to drag you to hell. He was holding a knife, its blade glinting in the dim light as he charged at me. But his debauched lifestyle had left him weak. I sent him flying with a single kick. The knife clattered down the stairwell. He tried to scramble up and attack me again, but Chloe shoved him hard. Julian tumbled backward down the steep flight of stairs. There was a sickening crack. His neck was broken. Later, Chloe was arrested for manslaughter, but the Thorne family had deep pockets. They paid a fortune to Julian's family to secure their forgiveness. Chloe was eventually convicted of involuntary manslaughter and received a suspended sentence of 3 to 5 years. The scandal, however, cost her her position as the heir to the Thorne Corporation. Disheartened and broken, Chloe Thorne disappeared from public life, becoming a well-known recluse on the Upper East Side. And as for me and Maya, we lived shamelessly ever after. The end. Would you like me to analyze the character development in this finale, or help you brainstorm a different ending for a sequel?